Oh, there's a car.
So I just had an interaction with an Ecuadorian again today, and almost every time that I have an interaction with an Ecuadorian, it's usually pleasant. It just makes me think about how much I like the culture and how much I like Ecuadorians, and how it affects the fact that I like Ecuador because I like the people. And it's so amazing. And you know, I mean, it's just they're just good people. They're easy to talk to and get along with. And you know, I'm not saying there aren't exceptions or anything like that. I'm not trying to make it sound like things are perfection or anything. But just most of my interactions, as you know, I've made videos about the ones that were less than ideal. Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about the government canceling my retire early lifestyle. Yes, governments purport to have the right to cancel your retirement and even more. Let's have a conversation. As always, we'll do a little bit of thinking and contemplating and, you know, test all things and hold on to that which is good. All right, so let's get on with it. By the way, it's thunderstorming again today, and it's raining, and so we're still in eternal spring. Did you hear the news? There are actually free states that are pretty much back to normal up in the North Country, North America. And if you ignore those states that are still wallowing in their dictatorship, unfortunately, and you exclude those, I've been talking to friends that are out there in the free states, and they're telling me that we're back to normal. The freedom of choice is still available there in North America and many of the states, thank God. Here, they're still playing the game where the medical establishment gives the appearance of asking the president to lock down based on some statistics that, you know, I'm no spring chicken. I came up learning that statistics are always manipulated, especially by political entities, to suit their own agendas. This has always been the case. Statistics are very easily manipulated, especially when they're not, you know, you're not able to confirm them. So, based on these easily manipulated statistics, they're just going through the motions of asking the president to do a lockdown, and of course the president says yes, even though the Supreme Court of Ecuador has stated that it is unconstitutional and therefore unlawful and therefore invalid. Speaking of which, you see a lot of this banter going back and forth on social media, and especially certain social media that starts with a letter F, as in Frank. And I'm not talking about the social media Frank, just the first letter. There seems to be an awful lot of people on that social media that don't seem to be as aware as some of the other people that are on other social media. And that's a clue. You know, because when you've got certain companies that decide what you're allowed to believe and what you're allowed to view and read and study, well, you know, there's a word for that. In a free society, there's no place for this kind of behavior. But that's exactly what's going on. And but here, I was saying, incidentally, the law actually protects Ecuadorians' right to free and equal access to food, which is pretty amazing. It isn't because the Constitution gives this as a right. The Constitution simply protects these rights that already exist and already existed before. When God created Adam and Eve, they didn't have to go through any gatekeeper in order to eat and take care of their own health. So this is absolutely not historical, not scientific, not biblical, definitely not biblical, not scriptural, and clearly there are more words I can say, but I will restrain myself. So we're talking about, I've made other videos where I've said that when you take away the people's right to their own sustenance, their industry, you're killing them. And so what's happening here now with the lockdown is there is talk in the local media that gives the appearance of being mindful of people's human rights and their right to their sustenance, by therefore justifying a weekend, complete lockdown on weekends, right? You know, I mean, clearly we're talking out of both sides of our mouth here. I mean, you know, you can't be just a little bit pregnant, you know. You either have your rights or you don't. You just take some part of it away, you're just killing people slowly. You know, you're instead of shutting their business down altogether, you're just shutting it down on weekends, and so you're just causing people to lose their businesses just more slowly. So there's no benevolence in killing people a little bit slower than usual instead of killing them faster by removing. You know, it's like if you eat three meals a day, and I say to you, well, instead of removing all 3 of your meals, I'm going to just remove 2 of your meals. You know, or instead of imprisoning you all month, I'm going to imprison you just on the weekends. You know, it's this kind of talk. So people still write in the comments that they're still considering, you know, coming here, and I don't have good news for you because this is what is happening, and this channel doesn't sweep things under the rug and pretend they don't exist and give you a postcard only a view of things. And so having said that, what else can I say about that? I mean, you know, if a person wants to come here to South America, you know, you got to know what's going on and what's happening and how it's happening. So some conversations are not meant to be had publicly, they're meant to be had privately. So that's it. All right, so this is the hospital parking lot. I want you to see there's a whole section back there. There's no cars in it. And I want you to see over here the empty spaces. Now it's the weekend, so there are spaces. It's the weekend, so there are some cars. But I want you to see that it's not overflowing. It's not totally full. There's lots of spaces. The whole other side's not full. Several spaces throughout. Look, more spaces here. More spaces there. Actually, for the size of the hospital, right? That's a really small parking lot. So, I mean, I would imagine there was maybe less than 20 cars in that whole hospital. And remember, it's a weekend, so So when you look at this kind of weather, the amazing part of it is that this kind of food grows well in this kind of weather. And these are artichokes, and therefore they're very, very abundant, and supply and demand, whenever you have a lot of something, then the prices, come down, and so they're pretty reasonable. And this is a very medicinal food because they're very loaded with vitamin A, but at the same time, which is pretty amazing, they're antimicrobial. So you're skipping two rocks with one throw, because you're getting the supplement, the superfood, the vitamin A, and then you're getting the antimicrobial properties, which keeps you healthy in both ways. So Hippocrates that said, let food be your medicine, and that's exactly what we do. We let food be our medicine, and no matter where we are, we figure out what local foods we can use to take care of our health. And that's what we do. We take responsibility for our health and we do something about it. Not everybody does that, and therefore everyone pretty much has to abide by the consequences of their own decisions and their own choices. That includes the amount of knowledge a person has about a subject. So, getting on social media and having a tone of self-righteous, know-it-all indignation doesn't change the facts at all. It's your responsibility to branch out from some of these platforms, which I mentioned, especially ones starting with an F, that don't allow you to make your own decisions and think that they are paternalistically entitled to say what you are allowed to view or read or believe. So, as always, it comes under the umbrella of seek and ye shall find. All right? Help out the algorithm. Give it a thumbs up. Leave some comments. Thanks for coming to the channel. And let us know what other kind of content you would like to hear. Bye-bye.